rebounds a game, 50% from the field, 37% for three. He has to be great tonight if they've got a chance.
20th meeting between BYU and Fresno State, and the Cougars control the tip. Dallin Hall, Keba Keita, Kenan Catchings, Trevin Nell, and Richie Saunders, the starting five for BYU. And here's Keita down low, up for his first two. Elijah Price, Jalen Weaver, Michael Robinson, Zayon Collins, and Alex Crawford. That's the starting group for these Fresno State Bulldogs out of the Mountain West Conference. 3-6 on the year. And defense has been the stress in practice since the Providence game over a week ago, where BYU got handled pretty good on the road. And here's the starting group for the Cougars. So we'll see what the defensive response is as Robinson's in the lane, and he gets Trevin Nell off balance, and Nell picks up his first foul.
Yeah, they talked about, since that Providence game, huge emphasis in practice has been defensive efficiency, knowing what they want to get done. And he said, we focused on really protecting the paint and being selective with the threes that they give up. So to have a good scout and to execute efficiently on defense. He said they spent a lot of time on that this last week.
Robinson is a junior out of Houston, Texas. Scored 20 against San Diego State, as you see Kevin Young, 6-2 in his first year at BYU. Vance Wahlberg in his first year at Fresno State. And Robinson gets them both to go down. So with Devin out tonight, what does that mean for Dallin Hall?
Dallin's going to play more minutes. The ball's going to be in his hand the majority of the time when he's in the game running this offense. I think it's good for Dallin Hall, who missed a lot of fall camp and missed the first part of the season. He's still trying to get his rhythm. Yeager got a chance to play while Dallin was out. Now it's Dallin's turn to play with Yeager out tonight.
Good ball movement there. Trevin Nell now with a three-point shot made in all 9 games for BYU, as Catchings knocks it out of bounds.
Watch as Catchings drives and throws that baseline pass. He saw the defense collapsing from the weak side, kicked it out there for the open shot.
Now shooting 41% on the season for three. And there's Collins, who's at 36% from distance, ties the game at 5. Collins at Salt Lake Community College last year.
And that was a really good Salt Lake Community College team that last year. Number 3 ranking in the country. They were 30-4, so he knows what winning is like. And this Fresno program right now, it's a rebuild. It's a rebuild for Vance Wahlberg, but legendary coach in the Fresno area. And our good friend Steve Cleveland says this is the guy that's up to restoring Fresno to glory days, this Fresno State team.
Crawford, look out! That is the Crawford miss, and then the dunk by Catchings. And it's 7-5. Crawford's like, hey, wait a second.
Yeah, and that
Catchings with a huge hammer dunk.
He makes that look so easy, but if you don't stop the ball, he'll take it to the front of the rim. And they've been encouraging him, if they push you out to the three-point line or when you have an opening, go attack the rim.
There's Robinson hitting the 3, and the Bulldogs are up by 1. 5 points for Robinson, averages 12.
And Robinson, he struggled a little bit from 3, 28% so far this season, but he's capable from out there. Maybe he gets it going tonight.
Saunders is the turnover on the travel.
Let's go back and take a look at that. So coming up the floor, and it was like the defense just parted. They all went into the passing lanes. You got to stop that guy, or he's going to finish hard at the rim.
Something to see. Kenan Catchings out of Indiana, projected NBA draft pick, figured to be a one and done. We shall see. And Fresno State is eager to shoot the 3 tonight. A miss by Price. And here comes Hall. Keita, reach in, and a foul against the Bulldogs. And that'll be Alex Crawford's first. Keita's been a rebounding machine. Saunders, catch and shoot, drops in a 3. Richie shooting 40% from the arc.
And that play designed for him to catch and shoot right there. And he's so good at elevating over defender. That was a contested three.
Weaver just about loses it. Kind of does lose it. But there's the follow off the miss in the first bucket of the night for Elijah Price.
Yeah, good weak side rebound for BYU. When you're on that weak side, you got to block out.
Price grabs the rebound.
Vance Wahlberg told us one of the things that they've worked on this past week is rebounding, and they know that they got a challenge in front of them. And this one is with BYU's size, length, and athleticism. Felt like rebounding was key.
Now, if you haven't watched Fresno State this season, as Nell hits, that's Keita on the rebound and an offensive foul on Keita. Fresno State's in a hurry like all the time. They're second in the country with most possessions in a game. And Vance Wahlberg was telling us, yeah, I would kind of like to get a little more under control and get better shots, but we're rushed. But the nature of his offense is to get in and go.
Right, and what he wants them to do is, and this is the old saying, is he wants them to play fast but not be in a hurry. And they've played fast, but they've been in a little bit of a hurry. Yeah. And when you're in a hurry, you make bad decisions. So, but that's the pace he wants to play with. He wants to eventually, when he has the right players and the depth, and they don't have the kind of injuries they've had this year, to play at top pace on offense and then play pressure defense up and down the floor.
Turnover on Fresno State. We've got a timeout, all tied up at 10. Here,
guys.
Thank you, Spencer, and happy birthday, by the way. You see AJ, he kind of snuck in here. They're going to announce him to the house later in the game, and that'll be something. Him sitting there with his dad, Ace, and all in at BYU. Trevin Nell got a beautiful pass from Kusini Traore. Nell's got 5 points as Traore settles into the game for the first time.
A great job by Nell of getting that ball quick up. The Price, the shot blocker, was coming from the weak side, and he knew he had to get it off quick, got it up on the glass and in.
Collins, left side three. Rebound Catchings as Weaver put one up. Catchings for three. And the rebound to Robinson. Collins calling for it. He'll put one up. And now hands it over to Saunders. And Richie off the glass with his left hand. He didn't have the numbers. It didn't matter. And Saunders now with 5.
Yeah, beautiful step through, and he used that left hand. And he is so athletic.
Now on the steal. Out ahead to Catchings. Off of his thigh. And out of bounds.
Watch Saunders as he sets the player up. Right step to the right. Left step to the left. Goes right by the defender and finishes with the left hand.
There's Saunders, Jr. out of Riverton, Utah. Amar Aguilar into the game for the first time for Fresno State. Mihailo Bošković and Dawson Baker are in for Kevin Young's Cougars. BYU by 4. They're nearly 6 minutes gone here tonight. Robinson. Here's the score. Aguilar with a left hand gets it right up and in. Scored 30 points in his first game. Fresno State against Sacramento State. He's averaging just over 14. But still trying to settle into shot selection. Good ball movement. Here's Baker into the lane.
Well, and we've seen Baker, like not only can he spot up and shoot threes on the outside, he's got great touch with those little floaters in the key. And they pushed out on him on the three-point line, and he took it into the key and made a little floater.
Aguilar, another shot up, and he drops down the three.
We asked Vance Wahlberg, okay, describe Aguilar for us. And he's like, he's a scorer. Like, he's not afraid to put it up. He likes every shot out there, and he goes, and it's a work in process, or in progress. They don't want to take his confidence away because he's such a good scorer, but they want to help him learn which shots are best in the offense.
Saunders, Bošković on the rebound, and over the back, and he picks up his first foul. Brian Amunique is into the game for Fresno State for the first time, and Crawford returns for the Bulldogs. These are road warriors, these Bulldogs. And for BYU, in that last game at Providence back on Tuesday, so 8 days, it's been a long time since they had a chance to get out here. We'll see Elijah Crawford check in a moment. Aguilar again. Here's another one.
And when he gets hot, I mean, he can really, really light it up.
Fresno by 2. He's 3 for 3 off the bench. Traore double teamed. Now it's Bošković in the lane. And he throws it away. Stolen by Collins. Here's Aguilar. Will he do it again? He's thinking about it. There's another one. This time he missed it.
That was more of a heat check than the others because he was actually defended really well that time. And this is a guy that was last year's Division I National Junior College Player of the Year.
Everyone's in a hurry to shoot threes.
First team All-American. and then Baker comes down and says, hey, I'm a scorer too.
Yeah, the shot clock is not going to be a problem tonight. And a hammer dunk. That one goes down by Amunique.
I like that one because it was kind of a hesitation dunk. He held the ball back while the defender flew by and then threw it down.
Check that. Moore Sec checked into the game and threw down a dunk, a 7-footer out of Senegal. Bošković batted around, and the Bulldogs bring it out. Fresno State by 1. Been a good few minutes for the Bulldogs. A collision in the lane. Foul's going to go against BYU.
The pace has felt frantic the last couple of minutes.
Baker picks up his first. It's a 1-point game. We're back after this on ES.
40% from 3. Difference in the game right now is Fresno State has 2 free throws and BYU doesn't have any.
20-19 the score. Price has got it. Handed off to Collins. Here's Aguilar. Gets it back top of the key. Price follows his miss, and Traore brings it down.
I think Bošković got a little piece of that on the way up, and BYU went to a zone that time down the floor, trying to take a little of that rhythm away because Fresno State's been attacking that man-to-man really well.
Here's Crawford in his first minutes, over to Baker for 3. Nell on the rebound. Traore backing in. Gets it back from Nell, and this is where Foose is so effective. Up and in. He's his first 2 tonight.
He's so patient. Like, he'll pump you up, and if you don't leave your feet, he'll give you a second pump, and then you leave your feet, and then he goes up as you're coming down. So good inside with that patience and that pivot foot just nailed to the floor.
And Traore playing the defense at the other end.
Active hands for Fresno State here early in the game.
Now left open just long enough to pop a 3. And Trevin's got 8. BYU back up by 4. Here's Crawford. Spin move. Traore another rebound. Bošković calling for it. And the ball knocked away by Collins.
A lot of tips in those passing lanes by this Fresno team here early in the game.
Lob inside. Price is fouled. And it'll be on Baker. And for Baker, that's number 2, Spencer.
BYU head coach Kevin Young in that last timeout told his guys, you don't have to hit a home run on every play, especially on the offensive side. Just make solid, fundamental basketball plays, and we should wear them down. Now, as far as BYU's defense goes, he pointed out that Aguilar can get going at any moment and said, look, we know he can score. He led junior college in scoring last year. Again, fundamental, sound defense on both sides really is the answer, guys.
Thanks, Spencer. The miss by Price. Our officials tonight, Kip Kissinger, Brooks Wells, and Brent Hampton. Baker will come out with those 2 fouls. Kenan Catchings is back in.
Vance Wahlberg said about Price, he just competes like nobody else on this team. Like, it's the kind of guy you want to build a program around because his motor is never ending. And he loves the example he sets with his work ethic and the way he plays out on the floor.
Crawford picks up the foul on the rebound, his second. And quickly off the bench is Jalen Weaver, and Crawford will come out.
This Fresno State team's had a lot of injuries here early in the season. We were talking to Coach Wahlberg, and he said, we've had practices where our top 7 guys haven't been able to practice. That's hard to have practice for your top 7 guys not practicing.
How about Catchings putting on a show? And he'll go to the free throw line, a chance to complete the three-point play. But watch how he maneuvers his way to the basket.
And I think Kevin Young would love to see more of this out of Catchings. Don't settle for threes. If you're open, knock down threes. If you're not, take the ball to the rim. You're one of the most athletic guys in the country. Use that length and that athleticism, ball handling skills to get to the rim and get to the free throw line.
First foul on Aguilar. And that one rattles in. 5 for Catchings. .9:20 to go here in the first half. That was BYU's first free throw. Everyone's out shooting threes. They're not fighting.
Nobody fouls out there.
Robinson hands it back to Collins. Aguilar with it. He throws it away. That's a tough assignment because Catchings is guarding him, and Catchings at 6'9" with a huge wingspan to begin with. And BYU on an 8-0 run as the 7-footer Moore Sec checks in, and Aguilar's going to come out.
One of the things Kevin Young told us about Catchings is that with his 6'9" frame and his lateral quickness, he can be an elite defender. And he sees, he's telling him, you want to play in the NBA, you want to be a first-round draft pick, you show people you can be a lockdown defender because you're capable of it, and you'll make it, and you'll get drafted. And so he's really been working on his defensive game.
Here he is working on his offensive game. Back to Nell. Traore looks inside. Now nobody comes to help, so first pops a three-point shot. That's his first of the year. Now 1 for 3 shooting threes. If you look at that's not the look on Sec's face. He's like, there's no way that just happened.
It's like, am I supposed to go cover him out there?
Missed 3 by Trimble. And this just a moment ago, Traore going, well, no one's open. I might as well shoot it.
And it's, it's almost like you got double dog dared to shoot it. It's like, I'm going to back off because you're not going to shoot that. Everybody else backed off, and I think Foose felt like, okay, this, like, you're tempting me. I got this. And he worked on that three-point game all offseason.
First foul on Elijah Price. 11-0 Cougar run. Here's Foose. A little closer to where he normally hangs out. Boscovich on the drive. Loses the handle, and here come the Bulldogs. Robinson driving on Crawford. Kick to the corner. And the 3 is true by Trimble. His first 3 of the year. 30-23. Mass substitutions awaiting for BYU. Shot clock under 10. Crawford left alone. And he finishes at the rim. His first 2. Elijah Crawford, freshman out of Augusta, Georgia.
Really nice read by Crawford. When he turned that corner, no help defender came and went all the way to the rim.
A pair of Crawfords in action tonight. One for Fresno and the freshman for BYU. Trimble with it. Shot clock under 10. And a turnover. Price caught it awkwardly and took an extra step. It'll be BYU ball when we come back. 6:48 to go. And the Cougars have made their last 5 shots, up by 9. Shirton and will join the club next year. And David Douglas, he went down with an injury a couple of games ago and has just been put together by Band-Aids. There are better days ahead for Fresno State as Wahlberg settles into his career. Longtime Fresno State, Fresno City, Clovis West High School. Catchings on the miss. Wahlberg is all Fresno all the time. Here's Collins into the lane. Up and in. They'll call it goaltend, but Weaver got the bucket to go anyway.
And you see the pace with which they play. When you miss, they get it out and get it up the floor. A great transition bucket for Fresno.
Spencer, you had your ear in that Fresno State timeout. What'd you find out?
Vance Wahlberg just reminding his guys that against a team like BYU, you can't just give them freebies. You have to take advantage of your offensive sets. And then he encouraged them to get up and down the floor and move the ball, which we saw just moments ago. So watch for Fresno State to guard a little more decisively, but certainly to try and limit those turnovers, guys.
Thanks, Spencer. Wahlberg, one of 4 college coaches, went from high school to their current job as a head coach in Division I. Hall on the miss. Aguilar's back in. Quick shot. And Catchings on the rebound. Catchings swoops in. And it's knocked out of bounds off of Collins. Baker's back, so's Price for our respective clubs. Trevor Nell's going out. And Sek is out as well.
BYU they've shot the ball extremely well in this basketball game. 62% from the field. So we sit here with just under 6 left in the first half. And Fresno State's not shooting it poorly. They're shooting pretty well on the road, but 62% is kind of hard to keep up with.
Cada hands it off to Richie Saunders. Shot clock is at 2. Hall's got to go up. Step back 3. Good! Dallin Hall's first bucket of the night. Maybe I'll take the lid off.
Yeah. That was a tough shot. That was a little bit of a fadeaway, contested from 4 feet behind the three-point line.
And Aguilar travels and turns it back to BYU. Here's another look.
Watch how deep this thing is. He has to back off. He's got a guy in his face, knows that shot clock is winding down. And this is a heck of a shot right here.
Dallin Hall, this is his 5th start tonight. Missed the early stages of the game of the season with an injury. And still trying to get his groove back. Junior out of Plain City, Utah. Catchings with 7.
And Catchings seems a lot more aggressive at attacking the rim in this game than we have seen him. And that's a good thing for BYU.
Aguilar on the miss. Here's Saunders. Lane opens up. And he's blocked by Price, but they landed out of bounds, and so BYU's going to keep possession.
Yeah, Elijah Price, this is a really good block. Athletic, gets all ball here, and then he makes a great catch, but his foot was on the line.
Amunique back in for the Bulldogs. Aguilar's coming out. 37-25, 4:43 to go here in the first half. Spencer will visit with BYU coach Kevin Young as we arrive at the break. Catchings. Hands it over to the point guard, Dallin Hall. No Yegor Demon tonight. BYU plays again on Saturday. He's day-to-day. Not sure if we'll see him against Wyoming either. And the ball off of Cada and out of bounds. And the Cougars turn it over. We were talking with Yegor before the game. He's itching to play. And we asked him about this A.J. Debansa announcement. He goes, it's amazing. He goes, and my friend's been texting her. He's saying, you got to come back next year to play with him. He goes, we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
And this will be against Cada, who started that with some defense, but on the other end picks up his 2nd foul.
Yeah, he moving on the screen, so he kind of stepped into the screen. Instead of staying planted in the ground and letting your teammate bring the defender to you, he stepped out and picked him off and got called with the illegal block.
Weaver driving on Sanders, and he knocks down the one-hander. That's the 4th point for Weaver.
He struggled with with an ankle injury. He hurt it 6 games ago, and it's still not 100%. And they need him to be 100% healthy.
Look at Baker use his body, work his way in. He's got 7.
Got a great way of going in there with all the big guys and being able to figure out how to get a shot up on the glass and in.
Collins over Baker into the iron. Robinson with the rebound. Nowhere to go, and bounces it off a BYU player and out of bounds. And that will take us to a timeout. 3:16 to play here in the first. And the Cougars up by 12 here on ESPN+.
He was there, and they were cheering his name. He's been to basketball games where they cheered his name. So he's a known person around here. And they don't know that he's here tonight, and they'll soon find out. So
he's playing for Utah Prep. They play Duncanville, Texas in Lehigh on Saturday night. So they're off tonight. That's allowed him to come to the ball game. And the ball knocked off of BYU. Kevin Young trying to make the sell that it should have gone the other way.
Both of these teams with 25 field goal attempts in the game, like all even. Difference is BYU's made 16 of those. Fresno's made 10. BYU's shooting at 64% through this first half, and it's really a shooting exhibition out here.
Price has to go up. There's just 2 seconds on the shot clock. Kate on the rebound. Catchings into the corner. Saunders for 3. Got it. What a sequence. And Saunders now with 8.
And BYU's now 7 of 15 from 3. How about this? When they take it inside, they're 10 of 11 in this game. They're just not missing when they take it to the rim. 7 of 15 is pretty good, too, from out there at 3.
Good response to the loss at Providence, where the wheels came off and nothing went right. Lots going right here tonight with a missed 3. Fresno State.
BYU couldn't make anything in that game, and Providence couldn't miss.
It was what you call one of those nights.
Yeah, it was one of those nights. They happen.
Here's Hall. Shot clock's at 10. Cada on the roll. Over to Baker. Step back. 3. Into the iron. And Amunick brings it down. Robinson with it. Up for a quick 3. Amunick. And we'll go back the other way.
Dallin Hall out on the outside. I love the unselfish play of Catchings there. Gets in the paint, draws all of that defense, kicks it out for that corner 3. Saunders set his feet on that 3-point line. You look at this, as we were mentioning, 10 of 11 from 2, 7 of 16 from 3. And that's how you get a lead this size in the first half of a basketball game when you shoot like that.
Traore in for Cada. Foose already has a 3-pointer tonight. He's part of that barrage. And Saunders is held up and fouled by Amunick. There's football ahead for both of these programs. The Bulldogs will be in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl against Northern Illinois December 23rd on ESPN. And BYU is in the Alamo Bowl against Colorado December 28th on ABC. Great time of year when both sports are busy. Traore leaves it short. Weaver into the lane. And they just can't get a shot to go down. Here Kevin Young calling out a play, and Dallin Hall gets the Cougars in position. Fresno State just 1 of their last 9 from the field. Final minute of the half. Shot clock's at 10. Hall for 3. Rattles out. And a timeout called by Vance Wahlberg. 30-second time. His show. And I'll tell you what, this BYU basketball, there's an excitement here that's never... There's been moments. Jimmermania was certainly a magical one, but as far as a build for the future, this is such a unique time. Before the shot, at travel and a turnover.
And it was a little bit of a late call, but but he got it right. Got tied up in the air, came back. You can't leave your feet and come back down with the basketball. He never lost possession of it, so maintaining possession. If he'd have lost possession and caught it back on the ground, it would have been fine. And Kevin Young's had him slow down the offense this last 2 times down the floor and run some set plays. Want to use this game as a chance to work on some things.
Shot clock's at 10 at a 5-second differential. Catchings for 3. Tapped out to Nell for 2. Nell again for another 2. Got it. And that's how the half is going to come to an end. Trevin Nell with 10 points to lead BYU.
And I mentioned in the first half, they've had a bunch of guys miss games, but they've had times when their top 7 of their top 10 guys haven't been able to practice. How do you even practice without 7 of your top guys out there? That's a tough task.
They'll be back in the state of Utah January 4th in Logan to take on Utah State. That's another difficult venue they'll roll into as Jalen Weaver starts the second half. He gets his 7th point.
Great assist by Collins. Got the ball deep in the paint and scanned his eyes out to the perimeter and was able to find him wide open for that 3. Good start.
Catchings back behind the 3-point line and drops it in. 10 points for Kenan Catchings. And the 3 goes down for Michael Robinson.
We're going to start with that same pace we started this game with. Beginning of this game just felt like it was up and down the floor, and neither team could stop the other.
8 points for Robinson. Nell for 3, good.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go to shoot off to start the second half.
13 for Nell. 4 made 3s out of the locker room between these 2. I don't want to be the one to miss. Who's going to be the one to miss?
Who's going to blink first? Travel.
And turnover for Fresno. BYU with the ball and a 17-point lead. Bulldogs have had double-digit deficits in 8 of the 9 games.
The thing for Weaver on that.
They've battled to the end. They've had decent second halves, but they just get behind by so many.
Weaver caught the ball right in between steps. So he came down, tried to establish himself, and then took a step, got called with the travel. So the first blink isn't a missed shot.
Look out. Oh,
yes, no missed shots, just a travel.
Nice touch by Keita. The crowd was ready for something violent. He just laid it in. 4 points for Keita. Here's a 3 from the top of the key, and it goes down.
Nobody's going to miss this.
Streak continues as Bryce now with 5 points.
And remember, when we met with Kevin Young, he said we've got to have these guys understand that you can't defend everything.
There's another one.
There's the first miss. So you can't defend everything. So we're gonna in our defensive scout have some shots that we're gonna be okay with. And if they make them, that's okay. But we need these guys not to get impatient. I think some of the shots Fresno's made early here in the second half are the kind that they're willing to give up.
Crawford is fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Dallin Hall gets his first foul. If you're just looking in and you're going, hey, where's that Yegor Demon we've heard about? He's at the end of the bench in sweats. A knee contusion he suffered on the first play of the game last week against Providence. Played through the game, but they're going to rest him tonight. Not sure about Saturday against Wyoming or Florida A&M next week, but he says he'll be ready for Arizona State.
He wants to play tonight. Like you and I talked to him before the game, and he goes, no, I'm dying, I want to play. His toughness is not even in question. The fact that he got bumped in that knee, and he played the entire rest of the game against Providence. He struggled to shoot. That could have had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Because he was hurting out there. And this is precautionary. They want to make sure that he's 100% sound when they begin Big 12 play, because they need him.
Hall on the drive. Leaves it for Keita.
Now there was what the violence that you were talking about going to the rim with. And what a pass from down home. He penetrates the defense, gets all eyes on him, draws the defense, and kicks it back to Keita for a beautiful dunk.
We talked with Kevin Young about Keita and Traore and their relationship. When they're good friends, when one's in, the other's on the bench. They're so different in how they approach the offensive end of the basket. We saw Foose hit a three earlier. Here's Catchings for two. Keita with a rebound and the putback. It's so different and yet dynamic.
He talked about the fact that, and you asked him out, he said, would you ever put both of them on the floor at the same time? And he said, we don't work a lot on that because their styles are so different and they play the same position. And another three by Robinson. He said, I won't rule anything out. If there's a matchup that points to us doing that, we would do it, but we don't work a lot on that. And he goes, they're like two completely different players playing that five, and you can play with a different style through them offensively.
Saunders for three. And it's Crawford on the rebound. And Robinson's got the hot hand at the moment for Fresno State. But on the drive is Collins. Another rebound for Keita. And Ritchie's going all the way in. Saunders now with 10 points.
And Saunders so good in transition because he can finish strong with either hand. That time finishes with the left.
Here's Robinson. He's got the hot hand for the Bulldogs. Another three, top of the key. This one not this time. Another rebound for Catchings. This BYU team is built in a way where they can play in a hurry too, and they're just fine with it. Keita, another rebound. He's got 7 boards to go with his 8 points. And a turnover, and here come the Bulldogs.
Kevin Young, I was just watching Kevin Young's body language on the turnover. He wasn't happy with his guards. Nobody came to get the ball from Keita. He wanted somebody to come get the ball from him, and they didn't.
Help the big man out.
Right.
Timeout, 58-41 Cougars here on ESPN+.
The power of weed.
For a couple of weeks, and so they didn't get on the front end of that. And for Kevin Young, he talks about this environment and being here for his kids and out of the NBA. And he loves that he's in Provo. So two guys doing what they want to do and doing what's great for their families, right?
Absolutely. Baker got fouled by Sek. And speaking of family, Kevin Young was telling us, so he didn't tell his kids about A.J. DeBonta until the night before, and then they were going to all wake up as a family and watch ESPN yesterday morning together and watch the announcement. But he had food poisoning.
One problem.
Him and a couple of the kids, they're throwing up the whole night, and they were still sick when AJ made his announcement. He goes, that's what we'll remember from that big deal.
Sometimes things are memorable for other reasons. They'll remember that one.
He's feeling better now. And he's got DeBonta behind the bench, and he's got a 58-41 lead on the floor. Big things ahead for BYU. Aguilar into the lane, kick back, open look for three, and this one climbs out for Robinson. Traore on the rebound.
4 of 7 from 3 to start the second half for
Nell.
Yeah, and there's a guy that can shoot threes.
He's having a night.
16 points tonight for Trevin Nell, and it gives BYU a 20-point lead.
Robinson on the drive. Traore on the rebound, out with it's Nell. He'll take it in and lay it in. 19, and a timeout called by Vance Wahlberg as it's getting away from Fresno State. 63-41, and we'll take a break with them. Back to pro. This is my night.
He is having an incredible night.
Playing like a veteran with BYU up 22. Weaver on the drive. Robinson slashing it,
nice
leads it for the 7-footer. More Sek with 4 points.
And it was a nice read by Robinson because he drew on the drive. Traore had to come over and help, and then he knew that he could get it to his big guy. That's just a beautiful read of the defense.
Saunders fights his way in.
How does he make that?
He wanted a foul to go with it. Richie now at 12.
I think he went up with the idea, I'm just going to get fouled, and he muscled it through and made the bucket.
There are not a lot of fouls called. BYU has just attempted 1 free throw in this game. Late whistle and a foul. This will go against Nell. And that's his third. And that will send the big fella from Senegal to the free throw line.
Yeah, BYU's at almost 62% from the field here in the second half.
Sek started in Hawaii, coming off an ACL. And Vance Wahlberg saying he's getting stronger every day. He's got a leg brace on that left knee, shooting into the rock. That rattles out.
One of the things Vance Wahlberg said they're working on with him is he's been a really good offensive rebounder, but they need him when he's in the game to just clean the defensive glass every time a shot goes up. And so they're working with him to be a more dominant defensive rebounder with that 7'1" length. And he could be a force on the defensive end for this team.
A miss here wins Chick-fil-A for the audience. And you can hear the disappointment. 5 points for Sek, and Price comes in. And the center goes out. Full court pressure now for the Bulldogs. San Diego at home. Fresno State finally gets to go home. Been on the road a whole lot in the early part of this season. That's Saturday night. BYU will play Wyoming in the at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. ESPN Plus. And a timeout called by rivals from the past, mixing it up in Salt Lake City at the Delta Center. That's the home of the Utah Jazz. That's at 9 Eastern on ESPN Plus. Baker into the lane, adjusts his shot.
He is so good at just going and attacking the bigs, using his body to shield the ball, and finishing from all kinds of angles down there.
Price got 2 looks at it. Traore brings it down. Here's Baker open for 3 more.
And that's the other thing that he does really well. 12 points now for Dawson Baker.
Aguilar for 3. Well, he had his first couple of shots off the bench and has been cold ever since. Elijah Crawford is in, and Dallin Hall's coming out. 12:40 to go. There's Aguilar, the junior out of Zion, Illinois. And once he figures it out, he is going to light it up for Fresno.
22.7 points a game as the National Junior College Division I Player of the Year. 122 three-pointers made. School record there.
Here's catching, speaking of threes made. Saunders the rebound. He'll go up again. Out come the Bulldogs. The Cougars were too close to the rim. High off the glass, and eluding the arm of Catchings.
How about that move by Weaver?
Weaver got his 9th point. Now Ritchie for 3. See, was a little further out this time.
Yeah.
15 for Saunders. Ball knocked out of bounds. Foul called on Crawford. That takes us to a timeout with 11:55 to go. Spencer with A.J. Devanza when we come back on ESPN Plus.
A moment like for you?
I mean, it's fun. Just everybody supporting me. I mean, like I said, welcome home. So, I mean, it's going to be my next home. So, I mean, it's like everybody just got to be a family. I like how it's, just a family atmosphere.
You and I were talking about dealing with Stephen A. Smith. Not many people can sit across the table and stare down Stephen A. like you did. What was that like for you?
I mean, it was fun. I mean, that wasn't my first time meeting him, but, I mean, my first time being on First Take. And, I mean, you just see it on TV so much, but it's just good to be, like, in the studio with Stephen A. and Molly. What
do you want BYU fans to know about what's going to happen with BYU basketball when you're involved?
I mean, it's already going upwards, so I'm just going to keep, making the trend upwards. I mean, it's at a good start right now.
You're a good student, too, AJ. I think that gets undervalued. So what do you look forward to most about the challenge of BYU for a year and the academics here as well as playing basketball?
I mean, everybody just, like, my mom's like, college is going to be hard. You got to do your work in college. I'm just excited to see, like, what college, like, academics is like. Because some people say it's hard, some people say it's not. So I just want to, figure it out for myself.
AJ, we appreciate the time. Glad you enjoyed the moment here at the Marriott Center. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Spencer. And we look forward to seeing Devanza here on this floor all next season. Into the lane, and a nice shot by Robinson. And he's got 13 points for Fresno State.
And Fresno continues to be in this 2-1-2 press. It's giving BYU a little bit of trouble. They're breaking the press, but taking them a little out of their rhythm.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose of it.
Aguilar down the floor.
Hustle play.
Here's Weaver. And Traore chases it down. Bošković into the game for BYU. He wants the ball in the corner. There's a foul before it gets to him, and it's going to go against BYU. And it'll be on Traore.
Yeah, they're going to say that Traore was moving because he really just rolled into the bucket and got in the way of a defender. But when you run into Traore, he's a big dude. Like, he's a big, wide body in there, very strong, and it was a pretty good impact.
Follow up on Spencer's interview with AJ. What do you expect out of Debanza next season?
Yeah, he's like, as I've watched his highlights and haven't been able to see him in person, but I watched a lot of his highlights. He's a ridiculous talent. Like, his skill set at his length, to be able to shoot from all over the floor, finish at the rim, do all the things, and he's got the ability to be an elite defender to his length as well. I expect him to come in and be pretty dominating right off the bat. Like, I don't expect that, hey, 18-year-old adjustment period with him as a freshman. And you think about how prepared Demon has been and how good he is. AJ's, right there and a step above in terms of athleticism. So, yeah, I think he'll come right here and be a dominant player.
Soaking it in here in his new digs with his new family, as you heard him describe with Spencer.
And Spencer has had a chance we've all had a chance to stand by him and talk to him. He's really long. Like, you don't realize how tall and how lanky he is until you're standing next to him. And it's crazy. Spencer just was standing by him. And Cannon Catchings is long. It feels like AJ's even a little bit longer than him.
Crawford on the miss, and out with it are the Bulldogs. Aguilar open long enough to shoot a three and misses. Traore another rebound, and back come the Cougars at this rapid pace, and Traore's going all the way. Slams on the brakes. And Spencer, you're back into your position over here. Do you think you could post up on AJ?
Listen, everybody in the control room was giving me trash about needing to stand on a stool while I did that interview. I'm not that short. Even AJ was like, look, do you need me to back up so that we can even things out a little bit?
Nice.
Nice of him. But am I wrong? Like, when I stand by him and stand by Cannon and Yeager, I mean, they're all long, athletic dudes, but he seems like with those long arms and big hands, like he's at another level.
Crawford is fouled by Baker after Baker turned it over, and Kevin Young goes, Dallin Hall, get back in there. He's trying to handle this pressure a little bit better. Again, there's a lot of fight in these Bulldogs. They've had double-digit deficits in every game but one, but they've had second-half surges and have finished strong. And here's another one. They're on a 9-0 run. And yet they're down 73-56. Spence, let's get your take on what you anticipate from Debanza next season.
Well, I mean, the basketball skill set, obviously at the forefront, so impressive. But again, I asked him specifically about academics because he is a really, really smart young man. And in fact, he told me he's going to study financial planning during the year he is at BYU because he's going to, not surprisingly, come into a lot of money. He said, hey, I just want to know. I want to talk to the financial analyst. He's trying to be really, really smart, and frankly, that's good parenting. And his dad, Ace, has done a great job there, too.
Interesting, these freshman phenoms. Diego Demon speaks 3 languages. Smart kid. Debanza, smart kid. And they have all the skill set in the world. Saunders for 3. Rattles out. Down too low is Price. Denied the second time by Traore.
Traore got a both. Did he get 2 blocks on that trip down? Because he got a piece of both of those.
Baker. Third time's the charm. No, but he got fouled. He's going to go to the line. He falls back exhausted. It's a battle down there. And Baker will get 2 free throws.
Baker, I love how hard he cuts the basket, too. When he's such a smart basketball player. He's very crafty when he has the ball in his hands. But I also love the way he moves without the ball. Cutting hard to the basket, figures out ways to get boards. And that time he got 2 offensive rebounds. I think he was laughing when he was on the floor because he couldn't finish either of those.
Here's the second free throw attempt of the game for BYU. Made the first. Now 2 for 2 on the night as Weaver checks back in. And Price is going to come out. Fresno State picked 11th in the Mountain West Conference. Boise State picked number 1. BYU beat the Broncos in a secret scrimmage of sorts in the preseason. Cougars picked 9th in the Big 12. Baker gets them both. 14 for Baker. Another night of balanced scoring for BYU.
BYU's come down. They've been playing 2-3 zone the last couple times down the floor. And Fresno State's have a little bit of trouble figuring out how to attack that.
Hall with the ball. We inch our way closer to the 8-minute mark. Now Hall for 3. His second of the game. 6 points for Dallin Hall.
And Vance Wahlberg just shook his head, looked at the bench, and was like, man, it's hard to defend that. They're just knocking down shots.
Trimble on the miss. Nice tap out by Bošković. Traore kind of left for himself here. Throws it away. Timeout on the floor. 7:38 to go. 78-57. BYU. None of Keita's points have come from
no, they have not. But Foose has knocked down a three.
Foose did knock down one.
On the other side, Fresno's 10 of 30, 33.3% from 3. A 61 combined 3 attempts in this one. And I thought Robinson was just going to attempt another one right there, but he lost his dribble.
He just wants the ball back, and he's going to do it. And that one rolls in for Collins. A frustrating night offensively for Collins. He's got 8 points, but he's been a good distributor of the basketball.
And they continue to run this full court press, easily broken that time by Richie Saunders. We haven't seen that a lot against the press where they've gotten easy buckets on the other end.
17 for Saunders. Robinson for 3. That would be the 62nd attempt.
Yeah.
Bošković knocked out of bounds off of Fresno State. And Traore is going to head to the bench. Keita checks back in. Both from Mali. Chance to play together. Keita was at Utah last year. Coaching change was made, and in comes Kevin Young. And Keita into the portal, a chance to play with Foose. And what he hopes, like everyone else on this roster, a chance to play professionally somewhere.
Yeah, and Keita, he's played 14 minutes in this game. He's got 8 points, 7 boards. He's perfect from the field, 4-4.
Waiting for Hall. Dallin looking for his third 3 of the night. There it is. 9 points.
And 9 points to go with 4 assists. Hasn't turned the ball over a single time in this game. BYU back in that 2-3 zone.
Weaver will try a 3. Bury it from the left side. Weaver with a dozen.
Weaver 2 of 4 from that 3-point line now.
Baker over to Saunders, and now Hall. When we talked with Kevin Young about his goals for the evening, Hal thought there was a lob.
Dallin Hall thought that Keita was going to roll to the rim, and that was going to be a dunk. But
Bulldogs give it back.
And now they're talking with each other on the other end, and Dallin was like, hey, and Keita's like, yeah, I know. I should have gone to the rim.
Young told us his goal tonight was to have what they've been doing at practice transfer over to the floor. And in-game against an opponent, how do you feel it's gone?
Yeah, I think with what they wanted to do defensively, they did a good job, especially that last 10 minutes of the first half in this second half. You know, they've held Fresno to 35% shooting here in the second half and done a much better job. And then on the offensive end, they've been deliberate with what they're trying to do. They've gotten out and run when they've had opportunities, and they're shooting lights out.
Keita, reach in, foul by Price, who went for the steal and the arm. And that's the second foul on Elijah Price.
That's only 5 team fouls now. Or check that, 4 team fouls on Fresno State here in the second half. So still a couple away from shooting free throws.
Yes, game zipping along. Hall waiting for Cada. Gets a screen, kick back, Catchings from way out there. Gets the iron, but out come the Bulldogs. Shot clock was winding down, had to go up. Weaver left wide open from the corner.
3 for 5 now for Weaver from three-point land.
As these Bulldogs get healthy and grow in the first-year system of Wahlberg, they got some things going on. How about that? How about that going on? Catchings on the lob, it didn't matter where it was. Cada was going to throw it down.
I cannot do justice to how athletic that just was. I can't even describe it.
Another 3. That one's strong by Price. Collins has got it, and he was thinking about the lob. Here's Catchings. And we get close to 4 minutes. 85-65. Robinson. Here's Weaver. And now brings it down, and we come back the other way.
If there's one chink in BYU's armor tonight, it's been turnovers. They have been a little sloppy with the ball, and pressure's gotten to them a little bit.
16 of them.
Yeah, 16 turnovers is way too many. I feel like against a team that pressures, 12 or under for a game is what you're shooting for.
You know, this officiating crew just let them play tonight.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of things that could be whistled for that haven't, and we play on. At the other end, and there's Aguilar with a dunk. He's got 12. Well, it's wild, but it's entertaining.
Fresno really extending the pressure on the ball now and trying to create some havoc.
Hall leans in there. Collins got off balance, and Collins picks up the foul. 3 minutes to go. Cada from Catchings. And then at the other end, Aguilar throwing it in with one hand. 85-67. Back with more on ESPN+.
You might not need crypto to sell a truck.
The fact, everybody talks about NIL and all of that, and they talk about the fact that the money was even at all the schools.
Yeah.
That was out of the way. They didn't go pit one team against the other for money. They said, hey, this is what's fair. And now we're going to make a decision based on where's the best fit, where he can get developed to play in the NBA, and he chose BYU for those reasons.
Weaver fouls Nell, and Trevin's going to get 3 free throws. And Spencer, as we bring you back in, what AJ had talked about in your interview was he wanted to come here and settle in. He said this is his new family.
Yeah, and there's an acclimation period. And being in the Rock with the students and spending as much time on campus as he possibly can while he balances his current studies. I mean, people forget he's got to go to class tomorrow.
Right.
They got to drive 3 hours home, and he's still got to get up and go to school. He's like, yeah, I'm tired, but it's worth it because he does want to be around the students, and he wants to experience this and not just feel embraced, but kind of get a taste of what this campus is about and what life at BYU is going to be like.
It'd be interesting as these Cougars on the floor and on the bench look over there and see Demancia in the Rock section cheering for them. Some of their thoughts as we talked with Yegor, and he said, oh, it's just amazing this whole week. And AJ coming and we reiterate what we said earlier. He said all his friends have been texting him today going, you've got to stay another year. You've got to play with AJ.
And he said, we'll see, though, right?
Yeah, he said, we'll see.
And Jaeger, I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he's another phenomenal talent, and could be a top 3 pick in the NBA draft this next year. And I said, well, how are you liking it so far? And he goes, I love the culture. I love the environment. I love everybody. I love the fans here. I love everybody associated with the university, and I'm having a great time. That's what you want to hear, right?
We'll hope to see him on the floor as soon as possible. As Hall is in off the glass, looking like his old self. Doubtful for Saturday. Florida A&M next week. We'll see. Arizona State definitely on New Year's Eve here at the Marriott Center. That'll be on ESPN2. Saunders, hey, no one's going to get in front of him. Take it all the way in. Tipped up and in by Keita. A dozen points for Keita to go to 7 rebounds. You know what? The pace has been relentless right from the opening tip.
This has been up and down, and we knew that Fresno, if you look at the analytics, that's what they want to do, get up and down the floor. And BYU's very comfortable playing at pace, and they've been shooting the ball lights out tonight.
Ball again, off the glass and in.
Same moves.
Yeah. 13 for Dallin Hall, season high. Hall getting a lot of time running the point with Demon out tonight. (8-0) BYU run. Kate on the block.
Yeah, that was a big time block. Came over on the help side and just rejected that.
Nell off the glass and in.
And he's having a game.
22 for Nell. 49 seconds. They stop the clock just to make some subs. So we take another look at Keita.
Boy, he just climbed the ladder. Went straight vertical. And then Nell on the other end. Worried about the shot block coming over. Goes to the other side of the rim and uses the rim to protect from the ball. Great side spin on it.
Mass substitutions for the final seconds here at the Marriott Center. 95-67. Good bounce back night for BYU coming off the double-digit loss at Providence. Crawford wanted the foul. Not going to get it this late in the game. At the other end, no foul there either. Shot clock's off.
Catchings almost hit his head on the rim.
He went flying.
Going up for that block.
And this is how it's going to end. 95-67. BYU goes to 7-2. Fresno State 3-7. Mercifully, the Bulldogs get to go home and play San Diego on Saturday. BYU will be up in Salt Lake on Saturday.